Okay, this question was done very badly. A lot of people had trouble with depreciation. Let's highlight some of our numbers. So $680, 4 years, it has $125, 1,920 pages printed for every year. And we need to work out what the unit cost method of depreciation is. Let's draw a picture of this, and that might help us understand things. So this is $0. This is $680, and our printer has somehow gone down to, let's put a line here, that's $125. Yes? Now that's happened over 4 years, so we've got the 4 gaps there, and each one is 1,920 pages. So we've got to think about how much is this drop, and how many pages were there? Well, the drop is 680 minus 125, that's 555. 555. And if we do 1,920 times 4, that's how many pages we printed in that time. That's 7,680. That's our dollars. That's our page. We want dollars per page. We want dollars per page. Per means divide, so it's just 555 divided by 7680, and that equals 0.07226, blah, 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 blah. 7 cents. Very badly done, this question. Draw a picture, really helps see what everything's happening. Okay, now a lot of people got confused with this one. First of all, it's quite easy to see this is going down, and it's going down curved. So we've got a graph that looks like this. So down is depreciation. So we can see A and B look pretty good. Why not C? So C, it says compound interest. So hopefully you've invested with the right bank. We found out recently the Royal Commission that not all investments go up, but it should normally go like that. That's compound interest. That's compound interest. So it doesn't look like that, does it? D says a perpetuity. Well, a perpetuity should look like this. That's a perpetuity. So no, it's supposed to last forever, so it goes straight across. So think about this. Although you're looking at this question, you're actually looking at a group of questions. Do you know the differences between the shapes of these graphs? Because the question might have a straight line instead of this curvy line. It might be going up instead of going down. So think about all these things. And E is an annuity investment with additional payments of 6% to the initial investment amount per annum. Again, investments go up, you hope, so that we can cross that out. So all you got to do is decide between A and B. Well, we can see it's curved. Flat rate is called flat rate because it's just a straight line, whereas reducing balance looks like this. So when you're sitting there and doing these questions, you should be like making notes of all these little pictures and what they look like and what you expect to see. Because a lot of people went with A because they couldn't quite see the little curve in there. Another thing that tells you off about it's definitely curved. How do I know it's definitely curved? Well, look, if it was going down by a flat rate, you wouldn't start to get these cents, would you? Changing. It's the same amount. This is a nice round 7,000 and it's gone down by a set amount. It should go down by a whole dollar amount. If it goes down to a whole dollar amount again, you wouldn't get cents, would you? So even though it's a very slight curve, the cents here are also hinting at that curved nature. So the answer was B. Okay, so we've got an amortization table. It says here that the interest rate is constant, but the payment might vary. So we're trying to work out this value because it says the value of the payment number 20, that's there. All right. Now, this is not actually that difficult a question. In the answers to this on the VZAA website, they went into quite a lot of detail, but all you got to do is know a couple of relationships on the table. So for starters, we know these two add up to this guy. So these two are going to add up to this guy. And this is from that previous one. But this one, if we add the balance of the investment to the principal addition, we get this value, right? So the difference between these two numbers is this number. The difference between these two is this number. And the difference between these two is this number. So the difference between that is 7,500 minus 7233.83. That gives you 266.17. So this is 266.17. we can answer the question almost immediately from there. If the interest rate is constant, I don't know, look, you can see it's going up a little bit, but so well, let's call it roughly 29 bucks. Yes? So something plus 29 bucks equals 266. Well, that's 237. Let's have a look at some of the answers. So why is A wrong? That was probably people calculating the interest. B, $100, no, because they told you they thought it was going to be 100 continuing down there. Not true. 135 is 100 plus, I don't know, some sort of 30 to value that some people worked out. And the 295 is probably people working out like 29 plus the 266.17. You could go into big long detail about how to calculate all this, but you can already see what is the most sensible answer. And that's just from knowing how the values connect together. Okay, this looks like a classic problem for a financial solver. And they love to do these questions because this is like using it twice. Because you can see we've got here this first 10 years, and then we change something. So we've gone from 1,800 a month to 2,000 a month. And that's going to be finished off in 5 years. So it's really actually not one loan. Just think of it as two loans, and that makes a lot more sense. So if you can imagine, this is our time, this is our dollars. We've somehow managed to buy a house for only $245,000. The one across the road from me just went for $707,000, so I don't know where they're getting their houses from. And it's going to go down to this point in 10 years. And we haven't paid it off after 10 years to some mystery value dollar there, so a question mark. And then at the 10-year mark, it goes down steeper for another 5 years, so it's 15 years in total. But we can think of this is loan 1, and this is loan 2. And we know this one goes down to the $0 because it says we paid it off. So the end of loan 1 is the start of loan 2. So we just have to use the financial solver twice, and we should be fine with all this. All right. So let's have a look at the financial solver. What values do we need to put in? Well, we've got the number of payments is 120 because we know it's monthly, so it's 12 lots of 10 for 10 years. Don't forget, you just put in 12 times 10 into your calculator. You can do that straight from the payment thing. 4.35 per annum, we put that straight in there. You don't have to do anything about this per annum. That's taken care of by the N, so it's a common mistake for people to actually try and then divide by 12. Please don't do that. 245, that's the money we borrow from the bank. Money from the bank, that means it's positive, but the payments we give to the bank, so that's negative. We know the payments per year and the compoundings per year are 12 because of the monthly, it says compounding monthly. And you can see at the end, the final value, this is the button you press the final value button and you get a negative. Why is it negative? Because you still owe money to the bank. Now, what we got to do then is that's the end of loan 1 becomes the beginning of loan 2. So we're going to move that number up there and remember how this whole works. So we still owe the bank $108,219.16, rounding off to 2 decimal places, of course. So on the financial solver the second time, what we do is this. So we know it's going to be paid off in 12 months or for 5 years. So that's 12 times 5, 60. This number is now positive because remember, that's the money the bank gives us so we can pay it off. We're still making payments, but that payment has changed to 2,000. So that's why it's negative. We give into the bank. We know the final value is 0. It's still nothing to change about the payments per year or the compoundings per year. You press the interest rate button, you get 4.14. That's close enough to B, 4.1. So that is your correct answer. So they love these double use of the financial solvers, and they just want to see if you know your positives and negatives are getting correct. Not too difficult if you just keep yourself focused.